Welcome to Comics Are Awesome, brought to you by Alter Ego Comics. I'm Mark.
And I'm Josh.
And we are here to talk about this week's best comics. We've got lots of endings this week. We've got some beginnings as well. So let's begin. Let's dive right into it. My pick this week is Detective Comics number 968. This is the final chapter of A Lonely Place of Living, written by James Tynion IV, artwork by Alvaro, I think, Martinez. Yes, I got it. It's on the last page. This has been great from the very start. Was this 4 parts or 5 parts? I don't remember.
5, I think. Might be 4.
This brings Tim Drake back to the DC Universe. Everyone thought he was dead. He was actually being held captive by Mr. Oz, who we now know to be Jor-El.
Maybe.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Mr. Oz is Jor-El, but Jor-El wasn't necessarily under...
Superman wasn't sure at the end of the issue, and if Superman's not sure, I'm not sure.
Yeah, maybe.
He says he's... Yeah.
That also happened this week. The
yes,
final part of the Oz
Effect
Effect came out, and there are some revelations in that which will... We're talking about Detective, but action at the end, I was a little sad. So Detective, we've got future Tim Drake, who is now Batman, battling all of the Bat family in the Batcave while trying to take out Batwoman in the Belfry, and Brother Eye is now at the command of Tim Drake. Basically, it's lots of talking, lots of fighting, lots of warning that the future is going to be dark and horrible because of Batwoman, and this is the beginning of the end, and that's the message that is kind of repeated over and over again by future Tim Drake. So we get resolution to that story. It's action-packed, it's fun, it's somewhat depressing, it makes me afraid, it makes me nervous for the future of Detective Comics. Not that the book won't continue, but that it's going to be a rough road ahead. But this was
for the
excellent.
characters,
not
as a story.
Yes, for the characters. This was a very satisfying ending to that storyline. And again, Detective Comics, top 3 easily, top 2 between Batman and Detective, the best 2 books consistently out of the Rebirth relaunch.
No question. Detective is also my pick this week. I tried really hard. I don't like to pick the same thing all the time, but it's that good. Awesome story. But not Detective Comics this week is Star Wars 38. This is the beginning of Ashes of Jedha. This is also the beginning of the new writer. We've got Kieran Gillen, who you may know from writing the first Darth Vader series and the current Dr. Aphra series, as well as Journey into Mystery and Wicked and Divine and a bunch of other awesome stuff. We still have series regular artist Salvador Larroca, or at least we have him for this issue. The Star Wars artists kind of jump around to keep it on time.
Jump around.
But as you may have gotten from that subtitle, Luke and the Rebellion are going to Jedha, a planet first seen in the film Rogue One. And there is all kinds of Rogue One-y goodness in here, characters and locations and fallout from the stuff we saw in that movie. So if you liked Rogue One, you're going to want to check it out. And I'm really kind of happy to see that. I really like Jason Aaron's run. It was kind of everything I loved about Star Wars. And I'm sad to see it end. But I like what Gillen does. And what Gillen does is more of, especially I'm thinking specifically of his Journey into Mystery run, and to a limited extent his Dr. Aphra run, is he looks at classic archetypes, at landscapes, at the way the stories are told, at the way the characters are, and he doesn't change anything about the characters, but he changes our viewpoint so that we see their actions in a different light, we see different possibilities, which is why he's really great at writing villains like Darth Vader and questionably Dr. Aphra. She's not really a villain, but she's definitely not a good guy. So it's very cool to see the original cast in a place from the new movies while they're still young, and it was awesome. Anytime Luke gets to be kind of Jedi-y, I'm there. I'm lukewarm. Bad pun. Unintentional pun. On Jedi Luke, like black costume, I'm like my father before me.
I'm a monk.
But like young Luke figuring Jedi stuff out is the sweet spot for me, and that is what we get here in the Ashes of Jedha, and of course Han and Leia, and a little bit of Chewie, and R2 and 3PO, and awesome Star Wars.
And if you are a fan of Gillen's Darth Vader run, there's a character that appears in this that I was pleased to see.
Oh, that character, yes, okay. Yeah.
I didn't
Two
read,
characters, actually.
Yeah, I didn't read all of his run, but when I got to that, I'm like, hey, is that? I'm like, yeah, oh, cool. I really enjoyed it too. I think it's a great jumping on point. I come and go with Star Wars, and that's the beauty of the Marvel Star Wars book, is that you can, if for one reason or another you fall off, you can get back on very easily. It's like riding a bike.
Yeah.
Star Wars is like riding a bike.
Well, I mean, none of the main cast are going to die. So, I mean, there's always a certain amount of continuity.
Yeah. Next up for me is an indie book that I want to bring to your attention. It's published by Image Comics, actually Top Cow within Image, called Port of Earth, written by Zach Kaplan, artwork by Andrea Moody. And this is one you definitely want to check out. Basically, Earth is visited by aliens. I don't know what year this is. Let me see. Blah, 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 blah.
Well, the future part is like 2020, so I think they're visited now.
It's like present day.
Yeah, because it's like they contact us, and then 3 years later the port opens, and the story happens in 2020. So
it kind of reminded me of the Twilight Zone episode "To Serve Mankind," which is one of my favorite episodes. It should be one of everyone's favorite episodes of the original Twilight Zone series, where aliens come promising all this great stuff to humans, and they're going to take them, a group of them, to their homeworld and show them all the wonders of where they live. And they finish translating this book that they give them, and the title of the book is "To Serve Mankind," and it's actually a cookbook. So I just spoiled it for you if you haven't seen it.
It's okay. It was already spoiled for them by the classic Treehouse of Horror episode of The Simpsons.
It was spoiled for you because it was on over 50 years ago.
That too.
Yes. So Port of Earth is similar. Aliens visit. They are friendly. They want Earth to be a port for other intergalactic travelers, to kind of a way station, kind of a Deep Space Nine sort of thing.
Think of it like when the British bought Hong Kong for a century. Basically the same thing.
And people are on board with it, but then bad stuff starts happening. It could be, aliens not agreeing with each other and getting into a laser fight that causes collateral damage, or humans not wanting aliens to be on their planet. So there's a lot of drama and a lot of kind of political intrigue, or intergalactic intrigue, I should say, that comes into play. And there's a news outlet that's following some of these kind of border agents that police the port, and we get to know these two guys, and that's interesting as well. So this was really just I'm trying to put words in my mouth and they're not coming. This is sci-fi, kind of grounded in reality, really good storytelling. Port of Earth is one that you don't want to miss this week. Don't pass it by. If there's one, quote unquote indie book to pick up, I think it's this.
Yeah. Was that colored by the guy from Man of Steel? Like, the entire book is all grays and whites.
Yeah, there's a little bit.
Like, it's a bleak-looking future, literally.
Yeah,
I mean, the art's good. It's just very, the coloring depressed me. It's a dark future, except it's light. So, now we've got your weekly rundown of all of the Marvel legacy in the world. First up, a one-shot. We didn't talk about the other one-shot last week.
It's Power Pack.
Yeah, Power Pack 1 came out.
But you liked it.
I did like it, but I didn't...
It didn't make the cut.
Yeah.
Because we have limited time, and we can like 25 books. We're only going to talk about 6 because we have limited time.
But yeah, so Power Pack was fun. I don't know a lot about Power Pack, so I may not have played as well. This week we got Master of Kung Fu, Shang Chi. He catches a monkey and teaches the monkey Kung Fu. And there's other stuff. I think there's an octopus and a really ridiculous over-the-top villain. This is written by CM Punk, who's like a wrestler or something?
Yeah,
he's not a comic book writer, although he's written a couple now. So if you're a CM Punk fan, that's a thing. But Master of Kung Fu was fun. Also written by somebody who's not a comic book writer, but somehow still writes comic books, Max Bemis's Moon Knight. This is issue 188, but it is part 1 of the new run. And I did not finish the previous Moon Knight run by Jeff Lemire. I know Mark raved about it, but I fell off and haven't gotten back to it yet. But this seems to pick up from that. And did you read this?
I did.
Moon Knight is barely in it. Yeah. So it's a lot of other characters setting stuff up, and I think it's good, like, if you're like me and didn't read the other stuff, it tells you where everything's at and kind of sets the stage. But there's very little actual Moon Knight in the book. So your mileage may vary. Also out, Spider-Man Deadpool 23. This is the first part of Legacy, and the reason I'm talking about it is it's drawn by Chris Bacalo, most recently off of Doctor Strange, but he's been drawing dark and weird stuff for a
very long time.
What, Generation X in the 90s?
Years. Yeah.
And it's Spidey and Deadpool teaming up. In Secret Empire, Deadpool killed Phil Coulson, and Peter Parker is going to take him, basically arrest Deadpool for that.
Revenge!
Yes, and it's good. The Bacalo artwork is awesome. There's mind-controlled great white sharks, and it's just awesome and weird. And Daredevil 595. This is still written by Charles Soule. We get art by Stefano Landini. And this is Mayor Fisk Part 1. Somehow, while Matt was off out of town and nobody else in the Marvel Universe was looking, I guess,
none of the other heroes in New York.
They were all busy fighting Captain America.
Yeah, that's a good
They were
one.
in the Dark Dimension? I don't know. Wilson Fisk has managed to get himself elected mayor of New York City, and I will not make any allegorical claims as to what that might be based on in the real world. Daredevil, Kingpin is in power. Charles Soule knows how to write a book, and Daredevil's awesome.
I want to point out that this is a great jumping on point for those of you that enjoy the Netflix Daredevil series, and maybe you've never picked up comics before. If you're looking for a weekly or a single or a monthly series to get into, the Kingpin in here is kind of an amalgam of...
They even drew some...
Yeah,
in the flashbacks, they definitely drew him...
Oh, in present day, too, there were a couple scenes where
Yeah.
it looked like, what's-his-face?
Yeah.
That guy who played the Kingpin, and my brain doesn't
From
work.
Full Metal Jacket.
What the hell's his name?
And
Law and Order?
well, I was going to say Men in Black, but yeah.
Yeah.
That guy. Who's the
Oh,
Kingpin?
Vincent D'Onofrio.
There you go.
It started back here and made it Vincent D'Onofrio. So yes, if you enjoyed the Netflix Daredevil series, I would highly recommend jumping in at this point because there isn't a lot of baggage that you need to know. Is it my turn?
It is.
Okay. Last up for
Okay.
me, Kong on the Planet of the Apes. And I'm going to hit my legs when I talk. I am a huge Planet of the Apes fan, like original Charlton Heston Planet of the Apes. So I am thrilled that we get to see all these different crossovers that are happening. We've had Star Trek Planet of the Apes. We've had Green Lantern Planet of the Apes.
Twice.
Yes.
Or no, we had Star Trek.
We had Star Trek twice. We have Green Lantern once. Yes. Maybe twice.
Maybe.
I don't know. I've lost
Maybe,
track.
oh, Star Trek Green Lantern twice.
Oh, yeah.
Green Lantern Planet of the Apes and Star Trek Planet of the Apes once. So we
these-
could have a big three-way crossover.
So for licensed properties, this is a big... Now, I must say, I have not watched Kong,
The newest
the recent
one?
Kong movie. I own it, but I haven't watched it yet.
The Sam Jackson Tour de Force, I'm assuming.
I was going to say the Loki, Tom Hiddleston Tour de Force,
Oh.
because he's in that too.
I
And
was
what's
also
his
going to
face?
say John C. Reilly.
Yes, John C.
but-
Reilly. Kong on a Planet of the Apes. So this takes place in the Charlton Heston Planet of the Apes world. Shortly after he escapes, and so you've got all the familiar players. You've got Zira and Cornelius and Ursus and Dr. Zaius, and they discover basically a giant corpse of a Kong-esque character. It may be Kong, it may not be Kong. But one of the really cool things about this, from my perspective, is that you have a lot of apes society that you don't see in the films. So, for example, they come across, like, they're out in the sea, they're on boats, they're exploring other parts of the Planet of the Apes world. They've got giant sea monsters that they're fighting. Super, super cool. So this is a 6-issue series written by Ryan Ferrier and illustrated by Carlos Magno. Highly recommended. So if you're a Kong fan, Apes fan, this is a no-brainer. I also wanted to mention, I meant to mention this with Detective. This is your weekly metal moment. The DC Dark Knight's metal books this week are Hal Jordan, Green Lantern, Hal Jordan, the Green Lantern Corps. This is part 3 of Bats Out of Hell. The continuation of the storyline that started in The Flash and then went into Justice League. Now it's Hal Jordan, and it finishes up next week in Justice League. And the shiny metal cover this week is Batman Lost. This is a standalone one-shot written by everyone that's awesome. Scott Snyder, James Tynion IV, and Joshua Williamson. Artwork by Doug Mahnke, Yannick Paquette, and Phil Jimenez, or Jorge Jimenez. Which one do we have? Jorge Jimenez. So this is what Bruce Wayne is experiencing in the dark multiverse, while we've been reading everything else that's going on with everyone except Bruce Wayne.
And if you've been collecting the cool buttons, the buttons are for the Turn to Justice League members, so there's not a button for this book. Just so you know.
Button.
Because he's Batman. He's already got buttons everywhere.
Who's got the button?
So are you quoting...
I have no idea.
Oh, okay.
At the children's
Okay,
thing.
I thought it was Willy Wonka, but that's probably from the children's thing. So. Last up for me, we've got a bunch of stuff that is still awesome, whether you believe me or not. Gotham City Garage #3, written by someone Kelly. How about Colin Kelly and Jackson Lansing, and art by Aneke. And this is basically the Gotham City Garage version of Harley Quinn's origin. We also get to spend some time with Barbara Gordon, whose father was killed in the first issue, and whose adoptive sister Kara is kind of the focal character of the previous stuff we've seen. Very cool version of Harley Quinn. We do get to see what I think is this universe's version of the Joker and spend a little more time with Batman. Very cool post-apocalyptic imagining of the DC universe where nothing is quite as it seems. We actually do get to see Lex Luthor on panel for the first time, and he's sort of the god king of the land. Mr. Miracle #4 of 12, written by Tom King with art by
Mitch Gerads.
It's still really awesomely good. And I'm really, the longer the series goes on, King's writing is still top notch. The dialogue in this book is amazing. Like the plotting is very straightforward, but the dialogue and the character interactions is great. But Gerard's art kind of grows on me as the series goes, and there's always one panel that I'm like, oh, that's just perfect. It's just a perfect moment in a comic book, which is sadly rare. Also out this week, Slots #2. This is the one written and drawn by Dan Panosian. This is the story of a boxer, gambler, scumbag,
scoundrel.
Yes, he's a scoundrel. He's scruffy looking, making his one last shot at redemption and helping people he cares about, or maybe just pulling another long con. Who knows? But it's ridiculously fun. Kind of, it's like if Ocean's 11 was a Coen Brothers movie, like kind of the skeevier part of Las Vegas. That's what we're getting.
Old Las Vegas.
Yes, old school Vegas.
All right, so that is it for our comics this week, but because we're the week after the opening of a Marvel movie and we've got some time, we're going to give you our 2 cents on the film Thor Ragnarok. So if you have not seen the movie yet, this would be the place to stop. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time. But if you did see Thor, or you'd like to hear...
if you haven't seen the movie yet, we'll give the very short version, non-spoiler, and then we'll cut into it.
All right. Fine.
Well, I'm just saying, maybe they want to know.
Maybe they want to know.
What?
Okay.
Giving a
well, you
review
know what you folks know what it's about, right? So it's about Ragnarok.
Thor.
It's about Thor. The Hulk's in it. There you go.
Jeff Goldblum.
Thanks for watching. I enjoyed it. I think that's basically what folks want to know. You know, I thought it was a lot of fun. I would probably put it in the ranking of Thor movies, #2 behind the first Thor movie.
I would agree.
But ahead of Dark World.
Yep. And a ranking of 3 isn't necessarily as specific as it
could
be.
It's not saying
Dark
any
World,
are bad.
Dark World is much lower than the other 2, and it's pretty close. Mostly the difference between 1 and 2 is tone.
Yeah.
But yes, if you haven't seen it, it's good. Go see it. You'll like it.
Yes,
I'm 90% sure you will. You will at the very least enjoy
Not
it.
that Disney needs your money.
No, but you got to buy Fox one way or the other.
Yeah, it's definitely worth seeing in the theater. Lots of fun. Our whole team enjoyed it. There wasn't anybody who was like, that sucked.
Right. See you next week, people who already saw it.
So if you haven't seen it, bye. Unless you want to stick around and get spoiler-filled details. And some of you do that. People go on the internet, they read spoilers ahead of time. I don't understand you people. Why you want to have stuff spoiled?
Oh, you people. Whoa.
Yeah. Well, why you want to have stuff spoiled before you see a movie? Okay, so now let's wait a beat. And now we'll get into our spoiler-filled review of Thor Ragnarok.
I don't know if it's filled, but yeah.
Yes. And now that you're drinking coffee, begin.
It was awesome. I enjoyed it. It was fun. It was everything that movie needed to be. It was a lot like popcorn. It was kind of enjoyable in the moment, but forgettable and empty. Like, I don't really feel the need to ever go see it again, but I enjoyed every moment I was in the theater. It's fun. It's action-packed. It represents a good understanding of what's marketable for a Marvel movie. You know, Guardians did well with the pop music and the heavy humor and maybe some more adult humor than was really necessary in a Marvel movie. There's a lot of anus and stuff in this that's kind of...
Devil's anus.
The devil's anus, yes. He needs you to take me through the anus. It's, you know... and there's other, like, the whole thing about Hulk's wang, yeah. I really enjoyed it.
He just said it was awesome, but he doesn't know if he ever needs to see it again.
That's right.
I only say things like that about Schindler's List and
and that's fine.
And Saving Private Ryan.
And nobody would argue those aren't good movies.
No.
But just, you know.
I thought it was, as I said, fun. I will gladly purchase it when it becomes available, and I will watch it again because 2 people in my family didn't have a chance to see it.
You won't watch it again. You'll watch it with other people.
No, well, I may watch it by myself. I can watch any Marvel movie over again. Any Marvel Studios movie is worth repeated viewings. Even Iron Man 2. Now, I watched that recently with my youngest just to... because he wanted to watch it.
Was it better?
There were parts of it that I enjoyed. I mean, the stuff where Rhodey and Tony are on the same side and they're fighting Whiplash and
so the last
the
15
drones.
minutes?
Yeah. The Black Widow stuff is good, but anyway.
Yeah.
But I digress. I think where Josh and I differ on this is that he is a much more analytical and technical person than I am. I am more of a feeling person, for lack of a better term.
What feelings were in this movie?
I think because if you... It's very good on the surface.
I agree.
But when you dig into it, the villains aren't really fleshed out. The story has some holes in it. It doesn't pass the, I guess, hold it up to the light test, but that's okay. That was okay for me. Now, I think your personality, you're going to dwell on these things that kind of eat at you, where, I
can like something that's flawed. Otherwise, I would never like anyone or anything. So, you know.
It's a difficult life for Josh.
I really liked the Loki-Thor relationship stuff. That is unquestionably the best choice Marvel made. Those two together, across all the movies, is the heart of it. Anthony Hopkins. Is Anthony Hopkins really that old? He looks so old in some of those scenes.
No one sees him unless he plays Odin.
And
so.
could we do the ending of episode 7 a little better? Like, they walk up to an old man standing on a cliff with a beard and white hair fur, and like they...
fur? That's a beard.
Yeah, that's fur. He's a god.
Was that the... No, that wasn't the end. The end was them...
Well, no, I'm saying the end of episode 7, where Ray walks up to this guy standing on the cliffs over the ocean with a beard. Like, it was the same moment. I expected them to reach out and, like, he would give him a hammer.
Given him his... I don't know what.
His
I think
badge.
There's a... I don't want to say there's almost too much humor. Because it's definitely humor heavy, and when the serious stuff happens, it doesn't feel like there's time for that to sink in.
Yeah.
You know, Thor loses an eye in here. I mean, it's cauterized immediately, but there's very little time to recover and be like, oh, Thor doesn't have an eye anymore. Mjolnir is destroyed, and there isn't a lot of time to be like...
Well, Mjolnir is destroyed is sort of the whole movie resonates with that. But that's my problem, what we were talking about earlier with spoilers, is I think I would have enjoyed the movie much more if I didn't know that Mjolnir was destroyed, because it's in the trailer, and I didn't know that Hulk was going to be in it. Like, if he goes into the ring, and that first time you knew Hulk was there was that Hulk, that would be an awesome moment in the theater. But it wasn't an awesome moment because it was in every trailer leading up to this.
Yes. I think people would have gone to see this movie without knowing that Hulk was in it, but I don't think it would have done as well.
Right, yeah.
It would
the
not
Hulk
have done
definitely
as well.
helped from a marketing standpoint.
I mean, this blew away the openings of the previous 2 Thor movies.
Which is not fair anyway, but yeah.
Right. But yes, I mean, one of our team members avoided all previews. She didn't see anything about this, and she was surprised when Jeff Goldblum was in it, and she was surprised when the Hulk was in it. I was like, really?
How did you
not know this?
We sell pops. He's right there.
Maybe, I don't know, maybe she was lying, I don't know. But so she really enjoyed all of the surprises that were in there, and that's the problem with trailers and previews now, is that everything is out. I mean, you've got the teaser for the trailer, you've got trailer 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you've seen half the movie, and we're all addicted to it, kind of, sort of. I mean, we want to see the latest stuff and ooh and ah.
Well, and if you like these movies and you probably go... I mean, like, if you went to Spider-Man, there was a Thor trailer before it, you know, there's a spot...
It's unavoidable.
The first time I wasn't actively avoiding the new Star Wars trailer, but I wasn't going on my way to watch it, but I went to Thor, and then I saw it, because that's how it is. There were people... Andy had his fingers in his ears and his eyes, like, let me know when it's over.
I thought he was just autistic.
I thought he was just having a moment. It's not a joke. Autism is real.
It is real.
And serious. But we are not serious.
I thought including Immigrant Song in the movie was excellent.
I think it was overused. We saw it in, 3 scenes?
I thought
it was both of the scenes where he goes apeshit, basically. The beginning was Sutter, it plays, and then at the end when he gets the lightning power on the bridge.
Okay, so it played twice.
Yeah.
Which is once too many.
And having seen it in the trailer, it was sort of repetitive.
It's not like Thor's theme. It's
apparently it is. He's an immigrant from space.
I was a little distracted by Thor's lightning power.
It's a little weird. It's not... out of the...
Because I was sitting next to a video game fan who was like, "Oh, Raiden!"
Yeah,
and
I
then
thought
when he
that
did the
too,
spinny
the
move,
eyes.
and I know this much about Raiden, except he wears like one of those
saw Big
rice
Trouble in
field
Little
hats.
China, right?
Yes.
That's basically that guy.
It. So Thor's lightning power kind of makes him invincible now, I think. He's much stronger
he's basically
than he
become
used to
Odin.
be.
I mean,
Yeah.
he's got one eye, and he's the All-Father. He's in charge of Asgard. I like the Asgard as a people, not a place.
Yes.
Because Asgard, they never really well defined Asgard in the movie. They did a lot of like brushing over like magic and technology are one and the same. But they didn't... Like, they never really made it fit in the cosmology, especially if you're going to use Guardians and Thanos and stuff. Having a full planet of Asgard means, hey, why don't we just call my dad, and we'll just go whoop Thanos' butt.
But now that there's no Asgard.
Now that there's no Asgard, they're sort of in diaspora. I'm hoping we get a Broxton, Oklahoma type thing. That would be really cool.
Which, for those of you that don't know, is J. Michael Straczynski. His run on Thor begins with Asgard hovering over Broxton, Oklahoma.
Well, it begins
There's
with
a chunk
all
of it.
It begins after Ragnarok,
Right.
in the comics. With
So all the Asgardians are gone.
and Thor
Asgard's
brings
gone.
back.
Yes. So I hope that's where they go to.
That'd be cool.
Because that would be right up Thor's alley because he's back interacting with humans on a very
Right. That's where Thor works best.
Yeah.
So the end of Age of Ultron. What is the last conversation that happens between Nick Fury and Black Widow?
I have no idea.
He gives her a scan and shows the wreck of a Quinjet and says,
right.
"We checked him. He must have jumped out over the ocean." And now he has that same Quinjet on Sakaar?
Again, much more technical and analytical.
That's just
even
following
remember
the
that
plot
part.
of the movie.
I was fine with them.
Well, because
feeding
remember,
me
after we
this
saw
new version.
Ultron, after we saw Ultron, I told you, I was hoping for a moment that he was going to veer off into space and go to Sakaar.
Yeah.
And apparently he did. We just got the opposite of that. Maybe Nick Fury was lying. You can't trust anything Nick Fury
lies
says.
all the time. All the time.
It's his job to lie to people. But again, it sounds like I'm picking on... I'm not. Thor Ragnarok is an awesome movie experience. Thor Ragnarok is rock and roll. Like, it's just... You could cheer the whole freaking movie. It was very fun.
Action packed. I was never like looking at my watch going, when is this going to end?
Right.
I didn't want it to end.
Jeff Goldblum just being Jeff Goldblum.
There are very few Marvel movies where I'm ready for the ending. I'm like, this could go on for another 3 hours and I would be okay as long as the quality stays there.
Yeah.
So
Strange was good. I think we got the right amount of Strange because using him more would have been...
It worked. I've heard some criticism of that. They're like, well, why did they kind of shoehorn Doctor Strange into it? But I think it worked, and I think the moments with Loki, and the whole thing at his Bleecker Street apartment, was awesome.
It was, and I was worried initially that we weren't going to get enough Hulk, that they were kind of just pitching Hulk like it was just going to be the battle scene and then it was over. But we get him for most of the movie. I think the Doctor Strange thing actually is a great touchstone for where the universe should be going forward. I don't think it should matter who cameos. It should be like a Marvel comic.
Yeah.
Like if Spider-Man
can pop up anytime.
If Spider-Man needs help, he goes and sees Doctor Strange and then he leaves. Doctor Strange doesn't have to do anything important. He just has to help him for that one moment.
Yeah.
So a world finally having a world that integrated is great. And I think Ragnarok, what it is exactly what we needed coming out of Civil War. Because remember, this is the first Avengers movie after Civil War, and Civil War was dark, hero versus hero. Tony and Steve have basically given up on each other and humanity, and Steve still left the shield behind. And this was fun. It was big, strong people punching stuff, and hilarious.
Yeah, it was. This does raise a couple of questions in my mind. Somebody asked me earlier this week, do you think we're ever going to get a standalone Hulk movie? Not with this incarnation of the Hulk. I don't think with the Mark Ruffalo Hulk that we're going to. I think that they wasted an opportunity with Planet Hulk, that they could have done Planet Hulk and then it led into Thor Ragnarok.
We know they can't, right? They still have the Universal still has the distribution rights to Hulk movies.
Oh,
so if the movie has Hulk in the title and Hulk is the title character,
I did not know
Disney
that.
Can't distribute it. Universal has to, and so they're never going to do that until that changes.
I did not know.
I mean, they're not never.
That makes that
dude.
easy.
They could buy Fox. They could make a deal with Sony.
Disney's
Anything's
fine,
possible,
everybody.
but it's not.
Which makes me a little nervous. Makes me happy and nervous at the same time. The other question is Infinity War opens in 6 months.
Yes, after Black Panther.
We haven't seen a trailer yet. Now, we're talking about trailers, and I guess I'm okay with that.
I'm fine with it. It's like Star Wars.
And if they never do a trailer, because I've read, unfortunately, a little bit of... I guess there was a trailer shown at San Diego Comic-Con. I've read a little bit of what is seen in that. But I'm actually okay with that. I'm a little nervous that Infinity War is going to get bumped, that it's not going to open in May, because we haven't seen anything. But... who knows?
I'm not that concerned about that. I think I would assume it's the same strategy as Star Wars, where we didn't get a trailer until fairly late in the cycle by modern standards.
Yeah.
I don't think... basically, every Marvel movie has been a trailer for Infinity War. I don't think they need to worry over much. I mean, they're going to go into heavy promotion early next year, maybe at the end. I'm sure we might get one with Star Wars.
We'll get one with the Super Bowl in February.
Yeah, or with Black Panther also
Yeah,
in February.
yeah.
Black Panther's the logical place if they wait that long.
Or Star Wars.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, who knows? Yeah, there you go. That's it.
Yeah.
Go see it. We liked it. We can talk about it a lot. I feel like this was a weird episode. It was a lot of arguing. Not arguing, but, talking. We talk a lot. I talk a lot. Shut up, Mark.
So many words.
Stop talking. We can continue talking over in our private Facebook group. Comics Are Awesome. We'll put a link in the show notes. If you like this week's episode, give us a thumbs up to help get it in front of more people. And share it with your friends so that more people can watch our show. Because this is your show, too. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again real soon.